Bartica! I jump out of my chair from the time I heard my name and sprinted there. Bartica! More like it, more like it, more like it. I thought we were ready, man. You know. One more time. Bartica! All right, that's the reason why I come back. The first time I was in Bartica was 30 years ago, 1978, as a member completing my national service at the University of Guyana. We had to come to Bartica to do some sessions. We used to call it back in those days national policy. It may sound a bit strange, but I'm advocating for national policy to come back because we have too many people growing up without understanding the environment that they are around, whether it's the political environment, the cultural environment, the economic environment. And more than any other time, this time you ought to be able to understand what is going on. Because I like to say, if you don't know, somebody else is going to write your history for you. So 30 years after I first came here, I came back earlier this year to open the Guyana Revenue Authority office down there. And I looked at the development 30 years on. Not many of us get an opportunity to look 30 years afterwards. But I was fortunate, thank the Lord, to see Bartica develop from a sleepy tongue with promise to a tongue that is evolving. This is no longer Australia. This is no longer Australia. It's down under and nobody cares. Bartica is the center of attention. And we were happy today to be a part of the Bartica community, and we were happy with your welcome as we continue these outreaches. I want to digress a little bit and tell you, they didn't tell me how long I could speak. You see the begging already? I remember my last budget speech in Parliament. I'm going and I'm going and I'm going. And a certain opposition MP turned, "Oh, Minister, you ain't done." I said, "No, this is not done as you like. This is not done as you like. We can go in. You know why? Because we ready, we fit, we fit from young to old. We are fit." Mr. Bew's out. Today, I think he win a big victory over the government because the CCG rule, a rule in which we would have been stupid not to expect because it's like a coin. One head, one tail. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. Don't worry, all this thing will tell you, well, oh, you know, this and that. We lose 3-0, but we were prepared just in case we lost. So that's why you see all these smiling faces here. You don't see anybody with a morose face here, drooling and so on, because that is the face you saw on December the 24th, when they thought they knocked us out. They only knocked us down. But 6 months afterwards, we're still here. And notwithstanding the ruling today, and notwithstanding all the consequential orders and so forth, we will be here. We will be here until the elections are called, and we will be at the tip. We will be at the tip when the next storm arrives. He can use well today. He call us those shitty cabals. The shitty cabals coming from an individual who we have to spend a whole set of money and call an ambulance. And call an ambulance to go to Miami because he had the... There you go. There you go. Calling we a shitty cabal. Right? But comrade, this is the game we are in. We will not degenerate. We will not degenerate into that because empty vessels make the most noise. They are going to come to you. They are going to come to you. Be warned. They are going to come to you and they will make all kinds of promises. It already started. 50,000 jobs here. We opening back sugar estates there. How are you going to open back them 4 estates that are scrap iron? And who gonna be working them? The people who put in bids for those 4 estates, many of them walked after they saw the conditions of it. They said, but what is it you are selling us? This is scrap iron. If you sell with this, we got to rip out the entire thing and put in a new factory. Those things have been there. They work themselves to the bone. They have been there since the early 20th century or even before. Very little maintenance has been done over the last 15 to 20 years. So it's scrap iron you're buying. And he telling them that he's going to open back those estates. Well, comrades, this comes down to the question, are you going to trust those people? Are you going to trust that man? Because the other man is MIA. The other man is MIA, missing in action. Missing in action. Are you going to trust that man to put his hands on our oil money that is supposed to flow from next year? Are you going to trust David Arthur Granger? Or are you going to trust that man who's missing? I don't remember his name, but I know he's missing. Y'all remember Gulliver's Travels? Gulliver's Travels had a giant of a man and some pygmies. This is what we're talking about here. Pygmies trying to exist among giants. And that is David Granger versus the other man. A giant versus a pygmy. A tested soldier versus an untested person. We got oil coming next year. This is about oil. The no confidence vote was about oil. Let's don't get confused. And this plot to unseat this government illegally was hatched outside of Guyana. Outside of Guyana. And it was put into perfection on December 24th, using someone who had everybody fooled. Because just the days before, he was praising the government to the hilt. He was abusing and cussing out more than the cuss out man. More than the cuss out man in the opposition. And then he lulled us into a false sense of security. And despite 2 recounts, it was plain to see that he was against us. So, comrades, that is one sleeper that was activated. But we must learn from experience. We must not be caught again with our proverbial pants down. Not only you exposing what is not supposed to be exposed, but you're liable to be shot from either side. This is serious business, comrade. We are in a war. Not a war using slings and arrows or guns and bullets, but we are in a war for the survival of ourselves, the survival of our children, and the survival of the future generation of this country. We are in a war to execute the government's Green State Development Strategy using our bountiful resources that are expected to start flowing during next year. You got to understand this, comrade. Nothing will be given to you. And you had the experience of 23 years. It's not me who telling you this. You experienced 23 years under the last government, and you said you had enough. And you gave us a chance. And despite all the odds, and all the different people and constituencies that didn't vote for us, we still made certain that development was all wrong. Some of our supporters cursed us out, abused us out, and said, we vote for you, and look at our communities. You're leaving us to go to people who you don't vote for. But comrade, this is a government for all the people. We cannot lower ourselves to those other people. We're partisan government. partisan government. I used to go to school in industry at a school named Commons Lodge. I know the area like the back of my hand. And 10 years ago, I was traveling, going back there to a place where I used to know. And I saw streets, well paved and everything, lined at the edges, some of them going to nowhere. And I passed and I looked at places like Sophia, close to Commons Lodge, and other districts, Pleasance and so forth. And I watched the degradation there. And I said to myself, this cannot happen and this cannot continue. Partisan development. But you can go around this country and you know areas based on the vote in the local government and in the general elections that didn't vote for this coalition government, but you could see the development that is taking place in those communities, attesting to the fact that this coalition government is a government for all the people. And comrades, I go back to the fact that the oil money is going to flow from next year. And all this business about no confidence motion and so on, it's about that oil money. It ain't nothing but your interest at heart. It's about putting their hands on oil money. And how much is this money? Well, next year we're going to do roughly 120,000 barrels per day. 2 years afterwards, it could probably go up to as much as 500,000 barrels per day. And by 2025 or thereabouts, we could do in as much as 700,000 barrels of oil a day. So we could be talking from as low as about $300 million US. We're not talking a billion Guyana dollars here. We're talking billions of US dollars per year. And to think that you will want those people to put their hands on that kind of money. With less than that, these people were able to build Pradoville 1, Pradoville 2, lands in Eccles, lands in Diamond, lands in Parfait, the friends, the family, the relatives, everybody. And they didn't have access to this kind of money. So are you going to make the mistake? Are you going to make the mistake to make those people come back in power to put their hands now on the oil money? No way. Comrades, are you going to make that mistake? No way. Well, from today, comrades, war break. From today, comrades, war break. Because we got to go to elections. We got to go to elections before the end of this year, hopefully. Hopefully, I say hopefully because we can only go to elections when GCOM say they're ready. Right? So don't let nobody tell you anything. Don't let nobody anything. And I'm putting the police on notice. I'm putting you on notice. Mischief will be afoot between now and when the elections are called. You have to be on your guard. You have to be on your lookout. Your intelligence have to be upgraded. Because already there's talk about bringing people on the street and strife and violence and so on. This we cannot have in our society. This government has worked too hard for social cohesion, and it will be remiss of it if it allows that particular social cohesion to go astray. I just want to use the couple more minutes you're going to take with me to tell you what you can expect, what you have got with the little that we had, and what you could expect in our next 5 years when you go to the polls. But before that, get registered. We cannot win elections by get ready, but when the registration people come around, you're not ready. If you don't have a birth certificate, let us know. Go to some place or even register now. We will get the birth certificate for you, let you go to where you have to. If you don't have ID, right now for the people to show you a passport or something, we can deal with that. The idea is do not take this registration period for granted. Yep. And comrades, be on the ready. Be on the ready if you are ready, because we will be able to call you out to picket for house-to-house registration. Yep. No registration, no election. No registration, no election. There's no fixing, no list. That is 650,000 people out of 730,000. What kind of maths is that? 650,000 people eligible to vote out of a population of 730,000 people. Cannot happen. The list cannot be fixed. And it cannot be tinkered with. And CCJ or no CCJ, they can't tell us that we must tinker with that list to call an improper election. Elections must be free, fair, and proper. And when we win the next elections, comrades, we wouldn't have the kind of Bartica hospital that you got right now. I apologize. I apologize from the bottom of my heart because it's nearly, I believe, 3 years since I signed that loan with the Indian government to repair 3 hospitals, Bartica being one of them. And as of today, we cannot get that loan effective. Not a cent disbursed. But that's some of the travails you got to go through when you depend on others for financing. And we hope that those kinds of travails will no longer or will be lessened when we get our hands on what is ours, the oil money. So I want to promise the Barticians, once we get that money, your hospital will be a reality faster than what we are going through right now. And it pained me just now, someone came to us while we were waiting for this rally to start, and she had all the pictures of her housing scheme that she bought, the houses that she bought from Central Housing. It was sheer slush. Poor lady paying $2,000 per day to clean her car and get it out. That will be something of the past once we put our hands on our oil money. And there's so much other investments that you could look forward to in Bartica and outside of Bartica. We're talking about a new bridge across the Demerara River. We're talking about driving from Georgetown right through to Brazil, going through Brazil right up to Canada, because already you have that highway waiting for us to complete our piece. We're talking about alternative routes to get to Bartica and to different parts of the country. We're talking about the new airport and jumbo jets and so on landing, and major other people coming to this country. Bartica is important to the future of this country. It is indeed the gateway to the interior. It is indeed gold country. I have some. And it is the community, it is the model tongue of the future. I take up enough of your time, but if you want me to go, I will go. But I like Clint Eastwood. A man has got to know his limitations. I reached my limit point. I thank you very much for listening, and wait for the rest. Wait for the rest.